to Leadership Beyond Burnout. I'm your host, Dr. Kimberly L. Wilson. Today we have a special guest, Myla Poree. Myla Poree is an accomplished entrepreneur, executive coach, business coach and strategist, and economic development advocate, skilled in the sense of ideating new businesses and finding market opportunities. With over 15 years of experience, Myla has proven to be a visionary leader who's adept with knowledge of organizational development through visioning, strategic planning, evaluation, monitoring, and trusted advisory support. She is the founder and CEO of MRP Coaching and Consulting. This is a New Orleans-based company founded on professionalism and committed to catalyzing positive social and economic change. Myla also hosts a podcast titled Momming, Surviving, and Thriving, and is the author of the book, Why Now? Why Not Now? The Journey to Taking the Leap. She came up with the concept of establishing MRP Coaching and Consulting to help women and minority-owned businesses access the resources and tools needed for them to build wealth, increase opportunities, and strengthen the community that they live in. Without further ado, let's welcome Myla.
Hi, Dr. Kimberly.
Hello, thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to let you share some of your wisdom and how you've been able to lead beyond burnout, as well as some of the work that you do in the community. Something that you didn't share in your bio that I'm extremely interested in is I see that you participated in the economic redevelopment of your area. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes, it's been some years now. So for people who are familiar with New Orleans, you most likely know about Hurricane Katrina. And this happened right as I was actually starting grad school. And so my thought was initially when I started grad school, I was going to stay away. But when Hurricane Katrina happened, I felt the need to come back home and to help with the revitalization of New Orleans and the surrounding areas. And so working with organizations to help small businesses get funding that they would normally not be able to actually either afford or actually have access to. And then also helping the small businesses development so they can get back up and running after Hurricane Katrina and many other disasters, of course, that have followed since then.
Right. Well, that's very awesome. And you all have a legacy. Your family has a legacy of service and support to the community. Is that right?
Yes. So my family does own a restaurant, Tookie Chaser's restaurant, that's been in business since 1941. So over 82 years now. So it's a still family run business. And so I'm the fourth generation, and we now
Wow.
also have fifth generation that's assisting in the restaurant. So our restaurant was founded to help the community, especially during the civil rights movement. There were many activists that came to our establishment to meet where they couldn't meet other places, to strategize on next steps. So I'm very fortunate and blessed to be a part of that legacy. And so our job now is to continue that legacy for 82 plus more years.
Right. And there are so many issues very similar to the civil rights movement resurfacing at this time.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things to tackle. And I'm really curious because with that legacy of community service and business ownership and family, how have you all managed to balance that and not just fizzle out? Because that's 1940s, that's a long time to be in business.
That's a long, and I will take it. I won't say it. One of my cousins says this all the time. We work hard, but we play even harder. So it's just, community and family is everything to us. And so our great grandparents, and our parents have taught us that family comes first. And so the business is there and it's our family, but we know how to we take family trips once a year, at least once a year, and just have downtime and really engage with one another during birthday parties. We love to celebrate with each other. So as much as we work, because we do work a lot. We do enjoy each other's company at birthday parties, family vacations, and just sometimes just having girl time, just for the girls to go out and have dinner and have some quality time to just not think about work.
Okay, okay, beautiful. And if you could share with us some of the, I don't know if you have some additional practices that you do regularly to ensure that you stay fueled and can do the work of service to people.
So, as you know, a, as a as Dr. Kimberly, you know, there's a lot when you're working with other individuals, right?
Right,
So if you're counseling someone, if you're coaching someone like I do, sometimes it can be draining, right? Because you're hearing those other problems, those issues,
right,
and you're all dealing with your own issues and other problems. So it's just not like for me working with just MRP. MRP is also all of the businesses that I work with, right? So you're
right,
thinking about all those things that they're going through. Same thing with you, Dr. Kimberly, the people you counsel and work with, right? So you're thinking about them. And so for me, I take Sundays are my day to kind of relax. I
okay.
do have 3 kids and a husband. So, but my husband
Wow.
knows that's my day to kind of, I work out regularly, but on Sundays is my day to kind of walk. Just not necessarily a vigorous workout. It's just walking and really listening to the birds or the water, wherever I'm walking that day is really to kind of be with my own thoughts. And then also that's my day to really take time to, you know, how people say, people a lot take showers, take showers on Sundays. It's a soaking bath where I'm there and the kids are kind of locked out my door. Cause if you have kids, they're knocking on the door all the time. So they know it's
Yes.
mommy's time to kind of relax and put on music, light a candle, and look at or read some book or some inspirational message. So that's what I do on Sundays. Sundays are kind of my like reset day. I do the walk, I take the soaking bath, and just kind of relax and just get ready for the upcoming week.
Okay. That, now, you didn't share one thing that I know just from your social media. Now, I enjoy Krav Maga, and you do a little boxing as well, correct?
I do. So, look, I have to get back on it because I know the trainer's like, what's happening to me? Just my schedule has not allowed me the last couple of months, which I can tell the difference. Boxing is a great, obviously, stress reliever, but it's great exercise. And though I'm not a true fighter, boxing is like my favorite form of exercise. It not only helps you like to relieve the stress, but you learn self defense. So the trainer talks about self defense, right? And he always says, "Now, Myla, I'm teaching you to do this to hit and then run away, not to hit and say, okay, we're going, we're going to grab it right now." And so I say, sometimes I may want to do that, but it's a great stress reliever, and definitely something that I enjoy doing, because it's you and the trainer or you and that boxing bag, and you're not worried about much else after that because you're
Right,
exhausted pretty much after you didn't relieved all the stress and got everything out.
right. And one of the things that I add on that when I'm doing that and I'm hitting the bag or choking someone is I'm imagining some of those challenges that I'm dealing with, and I am
Mm.
wrestling them, punching them, kicking them, doing all those things to get past it, and kind of reaffirming in my own mind that I can tackle this, that I don't have to allow this to uh, take me over and overwhelm me.
It definitely does. I do the same thing, and the trainer will say, pick somebody or something, and you focus on that one thing. And sometimes I do that even when I'm not training with him. I know it probably seems a little crazy, but if I'm like, because again, boxing is my favorite thing to do, so I could just start boxing in the living room or something as a form of exercise or just relieving stress or whatever. And even gets to the kickboxing because you want to kick somebody at this point. So it's definitely, you don't necessarily need a trainer, or sometimes you don't even necessarily need a kicking bag or boxing bag. You can just go through the movements of shadow boxing.
Right. I think that's. I've heard some people say previously that they don't want to do it because it seems so violent and they don't want to become a violent person. And for me, it's not so much about violence, but it is just the release of all of that energy and tension in your body through movement is just so
Mhm.
helpful.
Definitely. It's less about violence because I'm not a violent person whatsoever, but it's different. I would tell that person just try boxing one time and see how you feel after that. And I bet you they will change their tune to that little drum that they're preaching or they're saying that it's about violence. It truly isn't. It's about releasing some stress. It's about the energy that you get and the way that you feel good afterwards, and days afterwards, because obviously as you're continuing to do this, you feel good, your body starts to feel good as well.
Right, right. Now, I'd love to hear some more because I saw that you had an experience where you participated in coaching over 350 women at the Black Enterprise, I think it's Women's Summit. And
Yes.
so, not particularly them, but what are some of the challenges you feel that women are facing in leadership, and
Mhm.
and how you've supported some of them to not burn out and to be able to have a long career?
Mhm. Believe it or not, I think the biggest thing that a lot of women are dealing with are whether to pivot or to stay where they are. A lot of women are at that stage. A lot of women that I coach are at the stage of they realize they love what they do, but they may want to look at something else because there's a passion inside of them they want to release, right? And so a lot of the women, especially those that have been executives or management or what for maybe 10 plus years, they're looking for a change. And so working with them to help guide them and help them realize what that change may be. And it could be staying at the same company, but looking at a different position, or it could be transitioning to entrepreneurship. And it might not be full time or part time, something to kind of address that passion that they're having. So some people get to that point when they have burned out, right? So they're like, I've given my all. I've done this for so many years. I feel like I don't want to do this anymore. I kind of enjoy it, but what are my next steps? And so that's what a lot of the women that I'm working with are dealing with now.
Right. Because I can't quote the exact number from the study, but around 5 million women have left the workplace uh, after the post pandemic, and just decided I don't want to do this anymore. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the inflexibility of some of their workplaces. Or have you found it being something different? It's like the workplace can't pivot.
Right, exactly. And I'm one of those women. And so everyone talks about a quiet quitting. I think that's been happening for quite some time now.
Right.
They've just put a name to it. I think the pandemic opened a lot of eyes to this is what I do want. And now I realize what I don't want. And that I also have options. A lot of people realize the options were there. Prior to that, they did not think that. But there are organizations that are trying to work with the employees. Obviously, some have gone back into working full time in office, some have a hybrid options, but a lot of the women have decided to leave corporate America, either doing something maybe part time. A lot of them full time have left and have started their own businesses. Consultants, a lot of them are now consultants because they're using the knowledge that they've gained throughout the years to actually have their own impact. And that was me. I said, I've done this for so many years. Not that I did not like my job, but I also went through so many things throughout COVID that I realized I wanted to have my own impact.
Mm, that's really critical, having your own impact, as well as I think some of the things that scare women outside of entrepreneurship, or even just like you said, doing something on the side, is the fear that oh, too many people are doing this,
Mm.
and I can't possibly do this on my own. How do you support women when they say something like that?
I always say that there's only one you. There's only one Dr. Kimberly. There's only one Myla Poree, right? So you need to use those things that make you who you are, bring that to your business because you're not going to be the same person as your competitor, right? You're going to do something different. Do you know who your competitors are? Of course, you need to know who they are, but are you going to look at them every day and study them every night and kind of know because you're in your own lane, know who they are, know what they do, and that's fine. But you start your own thing and use your qualities, your traits to uplift what you're trying to do. And so, just like, you look in there's how many pairs of jeans with different brands, right? And they're starting every day. But it's something different that makes that pair of jeans different for each person, right? So you then become that difference for that person as to why someone wants to work with you or to buy your product or your service.
Absolutely. And you made me, I started chuckling because I began thinking about when I was in middle school.
Mhm.
I'm sure this is way before your time, but middle school was a time when all these different sorts of jeans came out. We had Teddy jeans and Jordache. We had, because Teddy jeans were Teddy Pendergrass's jeans,
Oh,
Calvin
wow.
Klein, and Gloria Van. Everything was out there, and we all just kind of tried to do something different. So there's room for them in the marketplace, and they don't have
Exactly.
to fear that there's too much.
Exactly. Definitely. And then also, one of the things is one, there's competitors. The other thing is, I'm not ready to start. And
Mm,
I always say to them, you can use Apple or any app or that you can think of. What do? They put out that product and then like a month or so later they send you an update, right? Because there's bugs or something you have to fix or there's something that's going on. And so they just update, right? And that's the
right.
same thing that you can do as you start your business, right? Just put it out there. Just put it out there. And if you need to upgrade, you need to make changes, do it as you go. And it's okay.
Right. Massive imperfect action. And ironically, someone just DM'd me at LinkedIn because they saw I've had my business since 2006, and they were like, how have you been going since that
Mhm.
long? Because I feel like I want to give up." And I just, for some reason, I felt like being transparent with this stranger and just said, "Well, my business looks nothing like it started.
Mhm.
It it is it's unrecognizable, truly.
Mhm.
It's a totally different industry, different activities, different behaviors. Um, I've grown, I've
Mhm.
shrunk, I've grown, and I I love the pivot.
Mhm. Oh, definitely. I think people need to embrace it more because it's going to happen. If you don't pivot, you become, I always use the blockbuster, right? They didn't pivot. They didn't make those changes, right? Had
Mhm.
they might still be talking about them to this day and doing something different. But I've only been in business 3 years for MRP, and I've changed within the 3 years because you have to learn to adapt. Things
Right,
change, people change, you change, right? So you may think that this target audience is who you wanted to have. That was your target audience at the beginning, and then you realize, maybe not.
right,
Or as you grow and you learn more and you get more experience, you realize there's another subset of people that would benefit more from what you're doing. And so then you pivot to that. Or, coaching versus consulting versus small business corporations. So there's many options for people. They just have to be willing to make the pivot.
right, right. And not be afraid. I think
Exactly.
fear is a huge thing.
So definitely fear is big. And I always tell people you never know what's on the other side of fear, right? Most likely there's some type of opportunity that you're passing up on just because of fear. And fear is most likely the unknown. Fear is the unknown. So you don't know about that, whatever that opportunity is. So there's a fear that comes into place. But if you're able to put that fear aside, all the opportunities are there.
Right. And there are times, so I won't say fear,
Mhm.
but I don't like change in certain things. Like I'm gonna have my toothpaste brand. I'm gonna have my certain ketchup brand.
Of course.
Those type of things that I use, it's like no, I'm not changing. I don't want to hear about anything else.
I agree on that. Now, certain things, especially my mom would agree with you. She's a big ketchup person. She only uses one type of ketchup. And something else she was talking about, she was like, "What brand is that?" No, I'll pass. And that's okay. I think that's fine. But certain things you can bend a little bit and maybe look at it. Why not try tasting that ketchup or tasting just a little sliver, as my daughter would say, of that, just to see how it is. Dip your toe in it and see how it goes.
Right. So now, what are the ages of your daughters, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh no, no worries. I actually have two girls and a boy. So my youngest is my son. He's 5, and then I have a 6-year-old daughter, and then an 8-year-old daughter. So they're
Oh,
right there, back to back. So
so the
I
6-year-old is in charge.
sometimes she thinks she's in charge. The 8-year-old definitely thinks she's in charge because my sister, who is the oldest of the 4 of us, tells my daughter, she's like, "Look, you're the oldest, so I have to teach you how to be the oldest." And I'm like, "Oh," so she thinks she's the person in charge a lot of the time. So.
Mm.
But they're fun. And that's why Sundays are my day to like really um kind of relax. And I'm just thinking about, there was an opportunity this past weekend. Someone asked me to speak, but I was already going to something that Saturday, and I was like, I Sundays are my days with family. And so I turned it down and actually asked somebody else to do it on my behalf, because I am literally doing something every other day of the week. Monday through Saturday, I am either doing something with my business, my family business. I also have a dancing school with friends, and my
Oh wow.
kids' schedule. Yeah, so I'm all over the place. So my kids' schedule with their sports and their school activities. So I really try to hold Sunday as a day where I can decompress and kind of chill out a little bit.
I'm
And
just
you have to learn how to
imagining the colors on your screen, on your calendar. Uh,
know. And that's what I do. And that's another thing to help my sanity, is to make sure that everything is on the calendar. So I tell people, if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, because there's things. Usually, if something is like, unfortunately, if it's last minute, most likely I won't be able to do it, because there's so many different things I have to juggle in order to say yes to something, if it's like a spur of the moment, last minute thing. And so I try to keep my calendar up to date with my information, my kids' information, my husband's information, to know where everybody's going to be and wherever things going. And so so that's why it's important to be organized. I'm not organized in some areas, maybe, but I am somewhat organized to help keep sanity.
now you're making me have a question.
Okay.
I'm thinking about all of these things that you're doing, and
Mhm.
the family and the community, and I'm wondering, do you ever have moments where either you have mom guilt or guilt about not being able to do something or not giving enough, and if
Mhm.
so, how do you manage that?
So it's actually quite the opposite for me, because I am an entrepreneur. And so I do keep in mind my kids' schedule. So, and that's part of the reasons why I decided to go into entrepreneurship. Um, because when I was working full time in corporate America, I did have some leeway, but there was always the guilt too. I'm like, oh, I got to pull my own weight, which I was obviously. But then I got to do this with my kids, and just the guilt on both parts with work and then with the kids. But when I decided to go out on my own, I knew that part of the reason why I did that was to spend more time and be more available with my kids. And so I know when my kids have something at school and I am going to be there when the mom's there. And it's, you have to make certain things, like I might not take early morning meetings, or if I do, it's going to be like right at 8 o'clock, right after I drop off the kids. And I know it means a lot to them, probably even more than to me, because I know other parents, and I had to think about it one time. There was one of the kids and say, how do you get to bring my sons in every day? Because you're allowed to bring the kids into kindergarten and up until January, walk them into class and stay. And so that meant something to me, because unfortunately her parents weren't able to do that, but my son actually appreciated that. And actually the kid noticed it. My son notices it all the time, obviously, when I'm rushing or something. I can't necessarily stay with him. I can bring him in, but maybe not stay. So it's actually the opposite for me, is that there's not really that much mom guilt, because I do have family first. And that's the advantage for me with entrepreneurship, is having the ability to still put my family first.
And it's unfortunately, I have noticed at times that when some people become entrepreneurs, they reinvent jobs. They create jobs for themselves
Yeah.
and do the same things that they would do and still miss out on family. And what would you
And
advise in that?
I would say look at your schedule and see what are some things that you can delegate to someone else. And I know small business owners are going to say, oh, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money. But if you really sit down and think about the time that you spend within the day, that some of those tasks could most likely go to someone else.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people, and that's another thing, is time management. Time management is a big thing. I always tell my clients, like I'm telling you, to look at your day. And I really want you, from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to sleep, write down what you're doing and mark off those things that you can put aside or put to someone else, or mark off those things that really don't have to get done that day. That's just, maybe. And those are those things that, even if it's it could be an assistant, but it could also be a virtual assistant that you may work with that can help you, or contractor to help with some parts of your business. Or are there any systems that you can put in place, like automatic systems that you can put into place that can help? So when someone's interested in working with you, the email comes to them, automatically emails, this is how you set up an appointment. All those things you can put into place to help give you some time. Right. And in that time, I'm sure you can find more time to actually work with your family, or do some other things that you could do, or just actually have a moment to yourself where you're not going to back to back to back to back every day.
So it sounds like you're saying make sure that you focus on the important things. Make the first thing first instead of the first thing last, or an aside.
Exactly. And then pencil in the time. So if it's something that, for 3:30 to 4:30, I'm just throwing this out. If you want to pick up your kids, if that's something that's very meaningful to you, is to make sure that I pick up my kids. Don't schedule meetings during that time. Don't schedule something. That time is for your time to go pick up the kids, come home, sit with them, whatever it is, and then get back to work. So it's also penciling, or I'm a big paper person. I use the computer, so you'll hear me say pen or pencil things in. But scheduling on your calendar that time that you need to spend time with family, or to do whatever it is that you need to do.
Okay. Yes, I'm just like, what does she keep talking about this pencil
I
stuff?
am old school, where I like to read hardback books, rather than listen to the audio or whatever it is, or reading on a Kindle or something. I like, actually, there's a stack of books over there. You can't see it on my floor, but I love books, hard copies. I like to write stuff down in notebooks. I might eventually put it on a computer. Obviously, I will need to for certain things. But you'll hear me say pencil and pen things all the time because I still do it.
Yeah, I leave my most of my pencil and pen things for journaling,
Mm,
and things, anything that I need to connect to emotionally and have, that's when I write things out.
mm.
Everything else, I'm typing on something or I'm listening to something.
No, I get that. And one thing that I just actually, I forgot the name of the book that I'm reading now. I think it's called Whatever It Takes.
Hmm.
So one thing that the author says, and I can't think of his name right now, but something again, it's the pen and pencil, is to write down your goals twice a day. So it's not just type
Wow.
as writing because you become connected with it, right? So
Right.
you're writing it down as soon as you wake up in the morning, so you can see and focus. And then before you go to sleep, you're writing it again. And so again, it's just a connection you have again. So you, like you said, when you're journaling, there's some connection there when you're writing
Right.
instead of typing. So that's something cool that I just read in that book, and I said I'll probably start doing.
Right, to give you more connection to it. When I was much, much younger, I wrote down my goals and then I had to open it 10 years later. And I,
Ah.
I opened it 10 years later and I was so surprised that I had done everything that I said I wanted to do. But
Mhm.
that's just insane to have your goals that far out and not check on them.
Oh,
Just,
some people do, and you don't even realize it. To my left, there's my vision board, and then behind me, I think it's my 5 year plan. So it's one is going to always be somewhere where I can see it and then look at it and see if I've done anything with it or not, or I need to make some adjustments or what have you. But I think about it, and I think I said this in the book that there I was moving out of my mom's house or something like that, whatever it was, and I was giving away stuff, and my niece wanted my vision board I had, and I looked at it, and I had done everything that was on that vision board without even thinking about it. That checking it off the list. When I looked at it, I was really amazed about what was on that vision board and what I had accomplished.
mm.
Making that vision.
So you have around you and amongst you personal GPSs to kind of keep you on track. You have your calendar, you have your 5 year plan, you have your vision board to keep everything just ever present. Like, hey, Myla, what are you supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And behind me, the quotes that I kind of remind myself, the biggest thing is in the middle, it's be happy. That's the most important thing for me is happiness. And so if I do all those things that are around there, creating a life that I want to live, there's a quote by where's Michelle Obama. There's no magic to achievement. It's really about hard work, choices, and persistence. That's a big thing for me. Hard work and being persistent. And then another one, don't wait for things to get easier or simpler or better. Life will always be complicated. Learn to be happy right now. Otherwise, you'll run out of time. And then the other one over here, if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to help them build theirs. That was huge for me. And when I decided to go out on my own, because I'm like, I'm helping other people. And then the last one, I have the power to create the life I deserve. So
Yes,
those are kind of things that the quotes that have stood out to me and that I want to kind of focus on every day that I come into my office.
absolutely. I just want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing some of your wisdom and what's allowed not only your family to be multi-generational entrepreneurs, but also some of the choices you've made and why entrepreneurship is important to you and how you keep that fire and fuel going. Are there
Mhm.
any last nuggets that you'd like to share before you leave?
Well, thank you again for being on. This is great to have a conversation with you again. So I appreciate that. The one thing I would say is kind of piggyback with this book I'm reading is really you have to do whatever it takes. If you have that dream, if you have that desire to create impact, I'm big on creating impact. What I do now is not just for me, it's for my family, it's for the community, it's for generations to follow. And to make sure that you understand what your why is, and that's the most important thing when you decide to do anything in life. What's your
Mhm.
why? Because that why is going to help you drive that and steer your dreams to wherever you want it to go by understanding your why, your purpose, and to why you're living your life on a daily basis.
Right. Don't do it accidentally and know your why.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much, Myla, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone. You've been watching Leadership Beyond Burnout. I'm your host, Dr. Kimberly L. Wilson. You can see